welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something truly magical. We're going to look at the amazing, endless journey of matter through nature. It's known as the biogenic migration of atoms. Now, I know that sounds like a really big scientific phrase, but stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to see the world in a completely different way.
So did you know that the atoms in your body are actually much, much older than you are? It's true. The atoms making up your hair, or even your beating heart right now, might have once been part of a dinosaur, a rushing river, or literally even a star. See, atoms never just disappear. Instead, they travel through plants, animals, the soil, water, and the air on this massive non-stop journey.
They are absolutely always moving. You can kind of think of the Earth as one giant recycling center. In nature, literally nothing is wasted. Every single tiny piece of matter is reused over and over again. Like we said, scientists call this the biogenic migration of atoms. Bio just means life, so this whole concept simply means that living things are helping to move these atoms all over our planet.
Section 1. Meet the mighty atom. So, what exactly is an atom anyway? Well, an atom is the absolute smallest building block of matter. Imagine a massive castle built entirely out of tiny Lego bricks. In our universe, atoms are basically those Lego bricks. Absolutely everything around us is made of them. The rocks on the ground, the water in the ocean, plants, animals, and yep, even you. You're essentially a masterpiece built out of billions of moving atoms.
Section 2. Organisms in the cycle.
First up in our cycle, we've got the producers. These are your plants, algae, and some types of bacteria. And why do we call them producers? Simply because they make or produce their own food. They grab carbon dioxide right out of the air, pull water and mineral salts up from the soil, and catch energy straight from the sunlight. They use all of this to build food so they can grow tall and strong, and as a bonus, they release fresh oxygen into the air for us to breathe.
Next, we have the consumers. We're talking about the animals here. Now, animals can't make their own food, so they have to get their atoms by eating. For example, a grasshopper eats a leaf, then a frog eats the grasshopper, and maybe a bird eats that frog. Consuming these atoms is what helps them grow, move around, and just stay alive. And while they're doing all that, they breathe out carbon dioxide and leave behind waste.
Finally, we have nature's ultimate cleanup crew, the decomposers. This awesome group includes bacteria, fungi like mushrooms, and worms. Whenever plants or animals die, decomposers immediately step in. They break down all that dead material, turning really complex things back into simple, basic minerals. They return those atoms right back to the soil, the water, and the air, setting everything up so the cycle can start all over again.
Section 3. An atom's endless journey.
Okay, let's track the path of just one single carbon atom. Step 1. It's floating in the air as carbon dioxide. Step 2. A green plant breathes it right in. Step 3. A hungry grasshopper comes along and eats the plant, meaning the atom is now inside the insect. Step 4. A bird eats the insect. Then step 5, eventually that bird dies and falls to the forest floor. And finally, step 6, our decomposers break the bird down, sending that exact same carbon atom right back into the soil. Pretty soon, a totally new plant will use it. The journey seriously never stops. Just take a look at this incredible map. You can clearly see the green plants working hard over on the left, the animals busy moving atoms around on the right, and the mushrooms and worms doing all their recycling down at the bottom. The arrows show you exactly how the living world is completely 100% connected to the non-living world. You know, the air, the water, and the soil. Every single arrow you see here is an actual path that an atom is traveling on right now.
Section 4. Nature's recycling systems.
So, let's break down the 4 big cycles. First up is the carbon cycle. Carbon moves out of the air, into plants, then into animals, and finally returns to the environment when those animals breathe or die. Second, we have the nitrogen cycle. This is where special bacteria actually change nitrogen gas from the air into a form that plants can use to build proteins. Third is the oxygen cycle. Plants release oxygen, animals breathe it in, and then those animals return carbon dioxide. And fourth, the phosphorus cycle. Interestingly, this one starts in rocks. The rocks release phosphorus into the soil so plants can drink it right up.
Now, you might be wondering, where do all these traveling atoms actually come from in the first place? Well, organisms pull them from 4 main places. First is the atmosphere, basically the gases in the air around us. Second is the water, which holds all sorts of dissolved gases and salts. Third, the rocks and minerals deep in the earth. And fourth, atoms actually come straight from the bodies of other living things. In what sends those atoms back out into nature? It's really just a few key natural processes. There's respiration, which is simply breathing out. There's excretion, getting rid of body waste. Falling leaves in the autumn do it too. And of course, the natural death of organisms, which is followed by decomposition. Honestly, even natural fires play a massive part by very quickly releasing atoms back into the air.
Section 5. Protecting our connected planet. So why is this biogenic migration stuff so important? Well, because it's what keeps our entire natural world in balance. This massive recycling system keeps the soil rich so our food can grow. It supports every single plant, animal, and person on the planet. Without these cycles constantly moving atoms around, life on Earth quite literally could not exist. So, how can we help? Because you and I actually have a really big role to play in this. We can protect nature by planting trees and looking after our forests. We can save water. We can make sure to reduce, reuse, and recycle our trash. And it's super important that we don't pollute the soil or the rivers. Just by doing these really simple things, we help keep nature's cycles working smoothly.
Section 6. The final atom quiz.
All right, let's see what you remember. Take a look at the first two questions here. Question 1, what is an atom? And question 2, why are plants called producers? Go ahead and shout the answers out loud if you know them.
Okay, let's check those answers.
An atom is the absolute smallest building block of matter. Like we said, it's the Lego brick of the universe. And why are plants producers? Because they make or produce their own food using sunlight. Great job if you got those right.
Okay, here comes the final challenge. Question 3. What do decomposers, like worms and mushrooms, actually do? And question 4. Can you name at least 2 of the major biogenic cycles we talked about? Take a guess.
And the answers are, decomposers break down dead things so those atoms can be used all over again. And as for the cycles, if you named the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, or phosphorus cycle, you nailed it. Fantastic job today, everyone.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final thought. Let's really take care of nature. It's the big, beautiful system that supports all life. Absolutely everything is connected. Seriously, the atoms in your fingertips right now might have blown in the wind 1,000 years ago. Atoms never, ever stop moving, and they connect you directly to the plants, the animals, and even the stars. So what will your atoms become next? Keep wondering about that, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.